This is not an average tech story. You're in for a treat, as this is where grit meets genius. This is what happens when a man says, yes, I'm going to build a business. I'm going to build a movement from Ann Arbor to San Paulo to New Lab, even today, scaling 35 companies. He has redefined the tech world. And today, we're going to have a quick look into this amazing entrepreneur's life. A few years ago, I had the opportunity of meeting what I call now the training camp of my soul with someone that introduced me to an amazing opportunity, even Black Tech Saturdays with digital empowerment and actual opportunities for tech minds and culture to bridge together. And so, with one purpose, Tim and I kind of connected with building transformations, but also not just with ChatGPT. Tim was actually looking to something more amazing. His company called Clixie AI. He's worked with Google, CEOs, teams, visionaries. He's someone that stands out, and it's not just tech, though. Honestly, it's his heart. It's the way that he connects with me and makes sure he gives me motivation along the way. It's the way that he even said yes for this 46 random acts of kindness series. So, three things you're going to actually get here from today, from listening to this amazing entrepreneur with number one, a blueprint for scaling. Just to look at a way to have a startup and the right way to have a mindset with what Clixie AI is all about. And AI is trusted in boardrooms and classrooms. Number two, a real talk background with AI as well as empathy and business all in one. It's not always about business, but who you work with and who you grow with. But Tim is more than compassion. He's an honorable individual I have a blessing to have in my journey. And number three, you're going to hear a little bit about mindset. You'll hear why Clixie is in Brazil, Mexico, Ann Arbor, and even in Michigan in every time zone, but it's just getting started. So this is not just a conversation, my friends, it's a wake-up call. When God touches you on your shoulder and you have a strategy and an idea, let Tim Moore show you how to turn your what if into a what next. So we're going to tap in, have a great conversation. My amazing brother, Tim Moore, from Clixie AI. Let's go ahead and bring him here into the stage for this random live virtual conversation. Oh my gosh, Tim, come on. What up, though?
Adrian,
Oh,
I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a true honor. Anything associated with you is solid gold. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate our friendship and you allowing me to experience your journey with you. It's amazing.
but the crazy thing is, Tim, one thing I really love about even just remembering that you introduced me to Black Tech Saturdays, like the
Sure.
fastest growing innovation, the ecosystem, just being able to have the digital empowerment summit. Tell me a little bit about, let's take a step back in regards to kind of your background and give me an idea of who is Tim Moore, if you can just ask on a general basis. That's a loaded statement, I know, but
Well, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version for sure. It's fairly simple. My father was an early stage tech entrepreneur before most people knew how to spell the word, and he had this idea that you could revolutionize newspapers by printing them on this brand new thing called a personal computer. And he did very well with that company. Within 4 years, he was Inc. 500 fastest growing companies. He was Entrepreneur of the Year. He had offices in multiple locations, and that I watched him start that business when I was 15 years old, sitting at my kitchen table with him in Plymouth, Michigan, in
wow.
1985. So I've had a lot of exposure from a very early age to entrepreneurship and understanding how to create businesses and scale. So we sold that business in '99 when it was the first internet boom and it was raining money. We got a little wet, and that was kind of nice. And we did what we all do: is we went out and built big houses and did all the things, and then took a break and looked for what was next, and saw that there was this revolution in what was telecommunications at that time with something called voice over internet protocol. I started a company based around that. So we were in Brazil. I had an apartment in Brazil for about 3 years because we were traveling back and forth so much. So I speak Portuguese. I have actually, I'm a registered foreigner is what it is. I have a social security number in the country so that I can own businesses, bank accounts, and things like that. I have a lot of great friends over there. I love it. And I'm leaving on Monday to be there for 2 weeks. So I always try to maintain that connection. And after that company was launched, we sold that in part and then in whole to a Brazilian company. We also had a bunch of other startups and exits along the way. As you said, about 35, but I'm working on 37 now. And so we'll see what happens from that one. Not all of them have been resounding successes, quite obviously not. Most of them have not been, but there have been a couple really good ones along the way. And it's allowed me to meet a lot of great people, which is to where I am now, that I help teach over at the University of Michigan for entrepreneurship and finance with Professor Brophy, recently retired. So we're looking to relaunch that class in other places. Also a member of the Michigan Founders Fund here in New Lab, which is a group of folks that come together to support each other in the founder ecosystem. I'm also an entrepreneur in residence for our lead investor, which is Cityside Ventures Birmingham Angels. So I do sit on both the investor and the founder side. So I get a unique perspective on what's required in that sense. And then to come find kind of full circle is the folks from Black Tech Saturdays. Johnny and Alexa Turnage are just amazing human beings. And from the very first time I walked into a Black Tech Saturday event, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. It was the difference between having 110 voltage and a 220. It was astounding. And so I have a friend that also helps to support them. His name is Doug Sung. He was our first multi-billion-dollar exit in Michigan with a company called Duo Securities. He's a big supporter of them as well. I got involved with them. And then I convinced Google to come swarm Detroit on February the 15th. And we had the largest Black history event that Detroit has seen. We made the history books on that one called the Blueprint Belonging. And we had over 1,800 people show up on the worst snow day of the year, which was really awesome. So from that, we've been able to do a lot of other great things. I don't take any credit for Black Tech Saturdays. What they do is they do that. That's amazing. I'm proud to be part of, I guess, their inner circle in some sense that can help bring events and other things to them. But I just mostly sit on the sidelines and applaud because they're just absolutely amazing. And they're the tip of the spear for innovation and technology in Detroit. So if they're what they call the tech curious. So if you want to understand what all this AI is about and things like that, I saw you put up the Digital Empowerment Summit. I highly recommend people go to that. It's completely free. It's 2 days. There are, I think, 15 different learning tracks. They're taking over 3 buildings at CSS in Detroit. And you can pick what you want to learn and what you want to know. There's going to be great entertainment. They're here to support the community. And if you're part of the community, and being part of Detroit is not a location, it's an attitude and a mentality. If you want to fight for what you believe in, if you want to work hard, if you want to succeed, and if you want to help other people build up along with you, then this is the place that you can do that.
And that's so amazing because you actually introduced me to go to my first Black Tech Saturday, and I was having an engineering background and just seeing what was possible. I didn't even know it was right in downtown Detroit, literally down the street from my office on 4th Street. And it was so so I think you said you don't have anything to do with it, but Tim, I have to fight you on that because you actually are sharing the message. Because again, I wouldn't have known down the
Mm-hmm.
streets. I mean, you don't have to, when people do things, even with these live virtual conversations, spreading the word is the one thing that people don't even value. Because if you see something that's very passionate people, you want like-minded people to connect together. So thank you for doing that. Because again, my eyes was open to it. I was so excited to be there just with my creative mindset and just giving them that brief exposure as well. So, but Tim, you just mentioned like a million things, my friend, what you're doing. Okay. And I was listening like, wow, but how are just seriously 3 letters? Wow. How are you in order to mindset, my friend, just even have a chance for Tim at times to be able to grow and build and we didn't even touch about Clixie AI. We didn't even talk about that yet. So like, how are you even able to do all these things, Tim? Like, brother, how are you able to do
It's love. It's just it's
Yes.
love of community. It's love of entrepreneurship. It's a love for innovation. It's a love for discovering new things and finding better ways to do things that we thought we knew already, that we understood. It's about not breaking business models, but iterating and finding better ones. And, I wake up excited every day. And people say, well, how can you do all the things that you do? I mean, how can you take the time? I go to almost all the events in the city, Grand Rapids, here, there, everywhere. I always show up. And it's for me, it's just really about showing up. And I was talking with Professor Brophy last night, and he said that's one of the world's oldest concepts. 90% of it is just showing up. So when I show up for myself, I show up for other people, and that feeds on itself and gives me more energy and wants me to do more. I don't get exhausted. I don't go home at night and go, oh my God, I got to go to sleep. I'm like, what's next? I got to do this and I got to do that. So it's, that's, you're a real entrepreneur when you don't want to go to bed because there's too
Right.
much to do.
That's that is so true. And you know what? It's so funny though, because even with all of the things that we have that love and passion, entrepreneurship can be one of the loneliest works because if you're trying to reach your different goals, you mentioned that now you have 37 startups, my friend. And like you said, some were successful, some were actually maybe not have gotten there. How do
Yep.
you deal with failures or things that may not go your way in regards to making, just in your typical journey?
There's failure is a loaded term, and
Yes.
it's because you only fail if you don't learn from what you experience. And
Mm,
so I try not to put judgment values on this is good or this is bad. I try to
mhm.
say, what can we learn from this? What can we do with this? Where can we go next? And I was just on the phone before we had this conversation with a young founder, telling him, I said, you got to fail and fail quickly. And that way you build and you iterate and you make it better. And that's not failure, right? And then you can keep moving forward. You can keep your vision like this. But if you have to pivot, you can do that without getting upset. And that's why I'm in places like this. Is I'm surrounded by founders that we support each other, and you've got to find your tribe. Always find your
Right.
tribe. If it's a movement, if it's a Black Tech Saturday, if it's a University of Michigan, if it's a Michigan Founders Fund, if it's any of those things, find the people that can support you on your journey. Then you can support them because you can give with one hand and take with the other.
I love it. I mean, because that's the key to the whole success in life. I honestly think is just giving back. And I honestly want to talk a little bit about Clixie AI. I was so enthralled with this platform of, just having the interactive videos. Kind of give me the concept behind Clixie AI, being the CEO and the things that you actually are trying to take to the next level with this organization.
So Clixie was actually, this is a great example of how you can fail forward. Okay,
Hmm.
so Clixie was originally started as a kind of a click to buy solution in Brazil. We were approached by TV Global, which is the second largest television programmer broadcaster in the world, and they were having problems with people that were watching their telenovelas, and they would see the glasses the person was wearing, the shirt that they had on, and they wanted to find out how to get or buy that. They would stop the video and then they would open up another tab in the browser, and then they would do a Google search or whatever to find that item. Now, in that space, Google lost, or Global lost, two things. They lost, number one, the opportunity to participate in that revenue transaction, and they lost the viewer because the viewer is not likely to come back. So Clixie was created with the idea that you want to be able to watch a video live or otherwise, but typically pre-recorded, and find out more information about the things that you see. And we did very well with this in Brazil. Walmart of Brazil, all the major media companies, Hope Lingerie, all the things in that space were working very well. And then Brazil went through a currency crisis, and everybody stopped buying everything. So we had to say, what do we do now? And we pivoted, came back to the United States, and then basically rebuilt it on the floor of the University of Michigan and made it for education. And
Mm,
within the University of Michigan, within that space, we were able to use that brand, and that allowed us to go after customers that we have today. So my best known customer today is Google. They use us
okay.
for Android enterprise and Android mobile training. So Clixie is a very horizontal product. You can use it for many things, because basically it's just a way to interact with the content so that you get engagement. That way that you don't lose out on all the subtle nuances that are coming through the training. You don't have to worry about taking notes. You have little like smart bookmarks on the side that will take you to websites that will explain concepts that you may not understand. But what really changed with this product for real was when AI kicked in, because
Mm,
that was the opportunity, and that was a hard pivot towards AI. And by using AI, we completely removed, for the most part, in the first instances, the need for a human author at all. So the
mm,
AI, when you're done with the video and you want to use it, for example, if we're doing this, and at the end of this time, we want to make this video interactive. We want to have some questions. We want to have it in Portuguese and in Spanish. What you do is you take the recording, and if you're already using Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Cisco's WebEx, we're an embedded app. without even leaving those applications. You can take this video, dump it into there. The AI will take the content, transcribe it, translate it into up to 85 different languages, understand what the content is, chapter it for you based on that knowledge, with trying not to make any chapter longer than 3 minutes, because that's the cutoff for your engagement as a human. And then also putting a quiz at the end of each chapter to make sure that people are paying attention. So that's all automated. You don't need to do anything with that. The AI does all of that. And then a human can come in and add a lot more sophisticated functionality like adaptive learning and choose your own adventure. And a lot of, you can put applications in there. There's a lot of other things, but we wanted to make it, there's two philosophies on the company: simple, fast, and easy. And you have to play nicely with others.
I love it. Simple, fast, and easy, and playing nicely with others. I love that. And it's crazy we haven't talked, and my mind was going. One of the things I'm trying to venture from in regards to, with these live virtual conversations is showing people with webinars how to build and grow. So one thing that stood out with me in regards to just doing the webinar, if we take the one main webinar, because once you have that storytelling concept and whatever you're trying to offer, and then
Mhm.
connect it with Clixie AI, you can make that webinar and you can take it a step further. Is that correct in regards to making it interactive for business owners, for people to understand their actual message as well?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're about. I mean, and I would be obviously happy to work with you to create storyboarding and other things. And so along the way, we created this awesome platform that does all these things, but we also received a lot of customer requests to help them create video content, so we can also
Mhm.
help do that. Like if somebody needs AI generated video content or some scripting, we can work with them as well. And then if they need a platform to organize the learning, we call it a learning experience platform that you can authenticate the user, you can track progress and things like that. We also can supply that. So we can do all that in one thing, and I would highly recommend it for what you do because it adds a lot of value.
And I love that because seriously, I love how God brings me back all the way. I know we talked last year. We talked last year, was trying to figure out all these different AI concepts, and now I finally got the direction in regards to what I want to offer in regards to a product and service, and that will do nothing but enhance people that are doing webinars and just taking it and making it interactive and take it. I knew God had a reason for these conversations. See how see
Tap,
how
tap,
things
tap on the
right,
shoulder,
you
right?
know what I mean? Like I knew
Absolutely.
what you saw last year was amazing. Your team was amazing. You showed me the actual how it worked in regards to just some of the conversations I was doing last year, but I didn't have my structure together, right? I was still trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go into. But now, see how timing is amazing? I love how he works. Anyway, so in regards to Clitsy AI, these 37 startups, how does Tim find self-care for Tim to be able to be the mastermind behind all these organizations, these founders, but how do you show your self-love in regards to just growing within you, if I could be honest?
Well, it's know yourself is the
Mhm,
first thing. Know the best to the best of your abilities what your limitations are. Understand where the boundaries are. That once I cross that threshold and I get that stress headache, I can't come back from that for another hour and a half. So don't get to that point. So start recognizing the signs that your body is in stress, that you're tired, that you're hungry. And we tend to ignore those things because we tend to push forward. But for me, it's a lot of it is I have found ways to combine different things into one activity. So I'm a big biker. I
I
love
was just going to
like
say that's why I'm smiling
yeah.
like this. I was like, let me see if he's going to bring it up. Like you riding your bike, like how many in the miles and things? I can't touch you in regards to bike riding, but how did you even get started? That's why I was smiling like that. I'm saying, let me see if he's going to bring it up. The bike riding, like go ahead. I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna let you
No, 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 no.
talk.
I used to actually be, I was a marathon rollerblader when I was younger, and I blew out my knee skiing. And so the biking was a great way to rehab. And I lived out on the west side of Ann Arbor. So I had a lot of really awesome, like just dirt roads to work with. So I had a road, like not a road bike, but a dirt bike. And I just started biking, and it gave me mental space and clarity.
Mhm.
Also, it helps when my body's occupied in doing things, then my brain can be free to think, and I'm also getting all the positive endorphins and other things that are going on, and I'm feeling like I'm doing something good for myself. But a lot of times I'll have conversations with people that work for me or friends or customers or other things, so I can combine the activity of actually working while I'm on my bicycle, and I will. And sometimes it doesn't always work out great. I have crashed and had to tell people I'll call you back. But for the most part, I've been able to handle it pretty well.
I love it. I love it because I mean, like I said, you're able to multitask with the best of them. So I love that with the biking and talking at the same thing as well. One thing I do love about is your travel because when you do the different travel, I live vicariously through you. When you say you're even going to Brazil, like 2 weeks, my mind was like beautiful. Oh, that sounds amazing. When you actually have these different travel moments, did you have any times where you had a struggle that you had to get through in order to still show up? So, in other words, how did you show up on times that were not always the best lined up with life going on?
There have been times when just everything goes to shit. I mean, everything just kind of falls apart. There have been times like I had a conference in Brazil that I was supposed to. It was a really big deal, and then United Airlines had a walkout strike where the pilots didn't show up. And it's a funny story.
Oh my
I
God.
I tried to. So I was supposed to go to Brazil to a place called Vitoria. It was a 3-day conference, and I was supposed to arrive a day early. So my flight got canceled out of Detroit, and I said I need to get to no, I'm sorry. I got from here to Chicago, and then Chicago, my flight from Chicago to Brazil got canceled. I said, okay, I've got to get to Brazil some way. Where's the nearest airport that will have a flight to Brazil? So they said Toronto is good. So I said, okay. So I got on a flight from Chicago to Toronto. So I flew over Detroit on the way there. The flight when I got to Toronto got canceled right away. So I had to sit and think about, okay, well, now I'm going to miss the conference entirely. So I'm not going to be able to get back. I'm not going to be able to do this. I should just go home. So I tried for 2 days for them to get me a flight back. And finally, I just rented a car and drove. I was just like, to heck with it.
Right.
And so, I don't know
That's
if it
hilarious.
actually answered your question, but there have been literally hundreds of experiences. I've been on airplanes where the engine caught on fire.
Mm.
We had emergency landings. My longest trip was I spent a month in Bangalore in India. And to get there took me 29 hours. And I didn't know who I was when I showed up because I was like, because of the time change and all the travel. And so it's just about, being, again, having confidence and faith in yourself and knowing that no matter what happens, you can deal with it. And I try not to take myself too seriously. And because I think that once you get angry and you think that the world is against you, then it really is, because that's the way that you're going to interpret everything. So if you can see it as a challenge and just something to get through, you can make it fun. It doesn't have to be awful.
You know what's so funny? When you were talking, I remember a conversation that we had in regards to random acts of kindness that you did. Like, you were in another country and you were frustrated and they were giving you all the runaround, but and it's so I don't know why. And then even a situation when you lost your wallet and someone ringed on your doorbell to be able to answer it. Like, how do these things that you share, because the random acts of kindness is so impactful in the way to help other people when you don't even see it. What's a good standout conversation? Because like I said, like 3 or 4 just popped in my head, but I would love to see what popped in your head just from me hitting you when you weren't even ready. What was the best random acts of kindness that you can actually recall that really made an impact on you, that made you want to pay it forward and do something for someone else?
I love doing stuff when no one's looking, and so they don't know it's me.
You do.
It's fun that way. And so
Isn't it?
it really is.
It's like
So
your
they're like,
own
what?
little fun.
It's like, it's what we do matters, and what we do and what we say, even if no one's looking, it matters
Right,
because we know it, right? And
right.
God knows it, but we know it too. And so my grandmother was an amazing human being. I was very close with her, and she was a Rosie the Riveter. She sewed pilots' parachutes for World War II out of the Willow Run bombing plant. And I got to go and get her Congressional Gold Medal for her, actually at the Capitol building when they awarded the Rosies as a Congressional Gold. And she told me something. She said, make sure what you put out there is good, because that way it's much more likely to come back the same way. She said, because people pay attention. And she was right. And so I always try to smile when I meet somebody. I always try to be warm and welcoming. People say that I'm easy to talk to, that I've got a nice vibe. But my favorite one was recently when I was at Frank's Deli. I was shopping in the morning at Eastern Market. I go to my favorite deli for a corned beef sandwich. I sit at the counter, and I had this older couple next to me, and they were fussing back and forth, and his wife had a friend with her, so they were talking, and this older gentleman is sitting next to me, and I can tell that he's a grumpy goose, right? You can just know it. And so I start giving him the side eye, and so we start making comments. And so my food comes before his, and and these, he said, those fries look good. I'm like, have some fries. And I push my plate over to him. He's like, really? I'm like, have some fries. So he starts eating my fries, and his wife looks at him and goes to her friend, would you look at this fool is eating this man's fries? I'm just giving him my fries.
Right,
And so
right.
when so they start kibitzing back and forth, and I'm cracking up. And so when they're not looking, I slide the waitress a couple bucks, and I say, pick up their breakfast on me. I don't want to have to pay. They don't have to pay for anything today. So I buy them breakfast, but the minute I did that, I ran out the door so that they couldn't find me, right, and do anything about it. So, and then I went with the next time I went back to Frank's, the same waitress, she's like, oh my God. She's like, they looked everywhere for you. They couldn't believe that you did that. That the guy was like, that's the first white man that ever bought me anything. And I mean, but it's not about me. It's
Right.
absolutely not about me. It's about, if you put good things out, I found that good things tend to happen. It's not faith at this point. It's trust, and that there is good out there, and you can add to it rather than take away from it.
And so, my friend, if people see the titles, the CEO, you speaking at different engagements, all of the accolades and things, and that's gonna stay with me. The Frank Stelly story is it's gonna stay with me. That's so amazing. And run out. You gave me an idea for tomorrow, like to do something to run out the door so nobody knows. And I'm gonna do. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow for my birthday. So thank you for that.
Beautiful.
Something just for me and you, just to have our own inside thing. They're not gonna
I
even know.
love that. I love
but
that.
everybody sees like the titles and all the different things and accolades.
Sure.
What were some of the struggles how do you get through the struggles, Tim? Because we have them. When you have those silent moments when you weren't that strong, how did you get through those moments and to kind of still keep pushing forward?
People, the people
Mm.
around me. Like I said, my tribe, my family. I have supports. I use them. I'm not afraid to ask for help. It was tough to learn how to do that, but once I learned how, I mean, you can either save your face or save your ass sometimes, and I choose to save my ass. And if I have to get a little humble in doing that, that's fine. And I've found that if you're helpful and you put good things out, that good things tend to come back. Like you said, I haven't thought about that example in a long time, of where I was out to dinner or lunch with a friend. I paid. I left the restaurant. I went back home. It was a short distance, a mile and a half away. And within an hour, I get a knocking on my door, and there's a guy holding my money clip with my credit cards and at least a few $100s in cash, going, I found this outside of the restaurant. I'm like, that's a mile and a half away. He's like, your address.
Dang, did I lose you, Tim?
Oh, are we back?
Yeah, I lost you.
Okay.
Are you still there? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said
Okay.
the money clip. Okay.
So he gives me the money clip, and he says, I found this outside of the restaurant. And I said, that's a mile and a half away. He says, your address was on your license. I said, can I at least give you the cash for helping me to not have to get my license and my credit card? He said, absolutely not. He says, I'm just happy to see that you're not unhappy. I didn't want somebody to have to go through that. I'm like, oh my God, it's people like you that make me believe and have faith in humanity.
Seriously, because I mean that story stands out to me as well because again, you wouldn't think like strangers don't think like that, right? Like you see a wallet, either they run by it, they take what's inside of it, then throw it to the side. But no, he went and found you and actually, made sure that you actually had a good day. And that that too helps me in regards to humanity, thinking that there's some good people out here in this world.
But the funny thing was is I did exactly the same thing that he did 2 months before. I was biking along the
Mm.
road and I found a wallet that somebody had thrown out of the car. Something had happened. It had some gift cards. It had a driver's license. And I went, when I got home, I got in my car and I went to that address and I dropped that wallet off in that person's mailbox. And I didn't want them to see me. I just wanted that wallet to show up. So again, you put good things out. It's not transactional, right? You can't expect it to happen, but they do
Right.
tend to happen. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. So how much do you think that God has an impact in regards to these little things? Because He sees all. That's literally, you know how like you do things selflessly. You don't do things to get something back in return, but God sees you. You don't. It doesn't matter what you do. He sees your heart. How much do you think that He actually has? Kind of in how much does God play a part? I guess I would say better in regards to your journey and the things that you do.
God's everywhere. I mean, coincidences are just God's way of remaining anonymous. That's all. It's just, we're at the surface layer, but when you go below, then that's where God is, and there's, it's behind the curtain, like the great Oz type situation. There's all this stuff going out here. Well, behind it is where everything's actually happening. And so I know I'm being led when, or guided when it's frictionless. It's the
Mm.
idea sticks in my head and you're going to do this. Like when I had the idea to do the blueprint belonging. I was sitting in a hotel room in Sao Paulo and it struck me. I'm like, I need to bring Google to Detroit. I need to do this for our city. And it wasn't about me and about anything. It was just that's God tapped me on the shoulder and said, that's your job. Go do it.
Oh my God. Just think about the things that you've done and the impact that you made. Like if God didn't tap you on the shoulder, I just that makes me just smile because again, I think we're chosen. And I'm just gonna be honest and say it. Like, being the chosen, but
Yeah.
you have to actually do the assignment in regards to that. How important, my friend, is doing the work in regards to your mindset, to setbacks. How important is it to, even you speak about family and community and surrounding yourself, but if even if you're surrounded with all of the books and the knowledge in the world, if you don't go and pick up one or go and, like you said, be self, just put yourself to the side, how impactful is it to, do that, do those things?
Well, so do you want to read a book about gardening or do you want to go out and plant stuff?
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
so
seriously.
you can do both. You can read the book and then go build the garden. But if you read a book without actually getting your hands dirty, you haven't accomplished anything. You've given yourself useless knowledge that cannot be used or transferred in any way. But if you understand the soil samples and where to plant things in your garden and in your yard, you got to get dirty. You got to break glass. You've got to get in and get in the mix of it because then you appreciate it more and you understand what is involved in building something.
You know what the word that stands out to me when you're saying is fear. People fear success. People fear failure. People fear breaking that glass that you're talking about. What would you say to someone that's had this reservation in regards to just taking action to be able to, get through those fears? We talk about it a lot, right? In our training camp of our soul, facing everything and recovering. What is that way that you as an entrepreneur face your fears to be able to tackle the day?
So the other acronym I like about fear is false evidence appearing real.
Mm,
Right?
yes.
And
Hmm.
most fear is based around things that are completely out of our control. They are looking 6 months into the future. They are trying to plan for everything, and analysis equals paralysis in this case because you don't do anything because you're afraid and you're petrified of the action of moving forward. But the problem is that you did do something. You made a decision not to act. And by doing that, you did make a choice. I mean, it's an old Rush song, for God's sakes, if you don't decide, you still have made a choice. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
choose what you want to do, not what you're afraid of. And I have found that on the other side of fear is joy, is
Mm.
accomplishment. And so it's a hurdle you have to jump over, but don't stop at the speed bump. Slow down if you have to, but keep moving forward and lean on people that are in your life to help support you through the fear. Make the phone calls, send the text messages, read the literature, whatever it can do to help.
And that's so beautiful how you said it because the action part is what gets you through. Like I know we say a lot, this too shall pass, because these moments, if you take advantage of every single moment that you have, you never know what's going to be on the other side of your actual action. So, my friend, as a mentor and a lecturer, and you've seen so many different conferences and founders and individuals, and it literally information overload at times. Like in regards to action, what made you commit to creating a tool where AI or the different startups and founders were able to kind of, no technical background, but able to actually tackle and move forward with their dream, with their different dreams?
Repeat that one more time. I want to make sure that I get that right. Could you synthesize that one more time for me, please?
No worries. So as a mentor and a lecturer, you were able to commit and talk to different founders and people
Sure.
that were actually going through their journey. And then you had AI to help to create this tool. Remember, you were talking about from
Oh
Brazil,
yeah.
you had to bring it
Hmm.
to Detroit. And so in that, with no technical background, how are you able to help these people, get started with their journey with these different tools,
Resources.
resources?
Everybody needs resources, and
Hmm.
most people don't know where to find them. They don't know
Yes.
where. How can I find out where to find a business accelerator fund grant, a BAF grant that comes from Spark or somebody like that, which is one of our blue zones in Michigan that gives away between $15,000 to $75,000 of free money just for asking. People don't know that exists,
What
and
was
so
that
most of
again?
the time,
So you can say,
it's
what was that
called
again? Go
the
ahead.
Business Accelerator Fund, BAF grant,
Mm-hmm.
that comes via, it comes through Spark in this area, SPARK. And I think that in Detroit specifically, the BAF grants are distributed by TechTown. That's the Business Accelerator Fund right there from the Michigan SBDC. I
Hmm.
also believe it comes from the MEDC, which is the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which is actually
Okay.
located in this building right over here. But they don't know these types of things exist. So I also have an organization where I'm mentoring 17 founders right now.
Hmm.
Most of them, all of them women, most of them of color. And I send resources to them all the time. When Black Tech Saturday posts all of the different grants and funding opportunities, I send it to them right away, and I tag every one of them and I say, look for the money. And if there's coaching opportunities, I tag them there. Pitch competitions, let's go, right? And then I'll
Right.
work with them one-on-one to help them just define what their journey is. And there's a lot of very common not pitfalls, there's common foundational points for all businesses. If you can put your finger on them, if you can
Hmm.
distill everything down to the common denominator by giving people that formula, it's so much easier to work with. And that's what I do, is I teach them the formula that I learned.
So, in other words, my friend, you're paying it forward. Who and you spoke earlier in the conversation about your dad in 1985, and you all sold the business in 1999. Did you have any other people that because you're such a role model, you even do that for me, and I appreciate you, combining the networks, right? Because again, like I said, I would have known about Black Tech Saturdays. You introduced me to someone with the nonprofit world. How important is it, my friend, to take hold and network and have coaching and mentoring for those that are coming behind you for where you're actually going? Because you helped me and you don't even know
So
it.
important. So I mean, oh my God, so important. I take I and I don't mean this in a negative connotation, but I take something from everybody that I meet. Everything. I learn something new. I find a different way to express myself. I learn a new concept. I learn something. So I get a lot along on this journey, and it's an absolute pleasure to be able to give it back. So networking, and again, your tribe is everything. Is how do you define yourself within a social matrix? Are you a supporter? Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to be an innovator? Find that, and then find people to help you support that in that space. And so, like the Michigan Founders Fund, you just show up. You just show
Right.
up, and I think I found the best way to understand an organization is volunteer to
Mm.
help support them, and then understand what they do. I mean, I help volunteer with Black Tech Saturdays. People are like, you're the CEO. Why are you moving tables? I'm like, because I want to know. I want
Right.
to
Right.
learn.
Right. What
Titles
they need.
titles
Right.
don't mean anything. Titles don't mean anything at all. And one of the most important things, I have to qualify that I ever learned from my father and then from Professor Brophy along the way, is you treat the person that cleans the building and owns the building the same. There's
Yes.
no difference. You don't treat either one less respectfully. You don't treat anybody less than yourself. And the funny thing is that a
Mhm.
lot of times that is the same person. The
Right.
person that's cleaning the building also owns it. And if you're disrespectful to them, they're going to know about it. And I can tell you
Exactly.
story after story of hilariousness where someone treated somebody else poorly because if they thought their position was less than or lower, or because the way they dressed, or because the way their hair was cut, and they completely missed out on an amazing opportunity because of that. And we walk into situations where humans, we prejudge, but set it
Mhm.
aside if you can, and just
Yes.
become an empty vessel to listen and receive what that person has to give you.
I love that. I love that, my friend. Like, and even what we're doing today, I know because your story is so amazing. Like, how important is it to be authentic in your story, to communicate, and even to let people know clearly, that you're not alone. And in regards to just sharing your story in general, how important is it to use your platform to do so?
They're very important. And because you are your brand,
Hmm.
you are absolutely, you're the first thing that people see. I help teach over at the Apple Developer Academy on sales and marketing and branding, and
Hmm.
be the person that you want other people to see you as. And so you need to get out there and you need to represent your best self and you need to be authentic. That doesn't mean that you need to come into every conversation and admit all your fears and horrors and terrors of everything that can go wrong. That's not authenticity.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so learn the best thing that I can say is learn how to tell your story in a concise way that's relatable, that people can understand what you do. And that way you'll be able to make connections with people much easier, because a lot of people will stand in the corner. They don't know how to have a conversation. Well, learn how to tell them about yourself and then ask, so what about you? Tell me about you. And I found for me, the formula to success is leading with generosity, of
Mm.
spirit or of product or of whatever. If I can help somebody with my technology, I will. If I can help coach them, I will. I met a guy downstairs, like when I walked in this morning. I didn't know what he was, and now I'm going to offer him some coaching and some help. And I don't know who he is. I'll find out along the way. So lead with generosity.
I love that, my friend, because again, when you lead with your whole mindset of not thinking to have anything back, that's when the best rewards come because you're actually being you. And I love that your story is so authentic and travel and everything that it encompasses. Before I go into the top eight, what is one thing that people may not know about you that you would want people to know that shares a little bit more about Tim Moore? Oh, you weren't ready for that
Sure.
one, Tim. I see
No, I got no, I got it. I got it. I
it.
got it though. It's the what has defined me in my business is my family. And
Mm,
the why I'm able to do at many things at the same time and multitask is because I have three wonderful children that are adult children at this point. I had twins right out of the gate.
did you?
Um,
You got
yep, I had
twins?
twins. I have twin boys, and then I have my youngest. So the twins are 28. My youngest is 25, and they taught me how to see the world in a new way. So the
Mm,
greatest gift that I ever had was the gift of being a father, because I got to show my children all the things in the world again, and I got to experience that. So if you cut me down the middle and open me up, you're going to see dad. That's what I
mm.
do. And so I like to help other people, and that's kind of a dad thing. Is coaching is a dad thing. So being supportive unconditionally is a dad thing. That's me. That's what I do.
Is that and a lot of people talk about working towards your why, having a purpose, having a vision in regards to when you
Sure.
like you share with me, waking up every day. What would you share that your why is in regards to it? I don't want to say give it to you for you, but what would you say is your why? Let me leave it there.
So my why in respect to why I am the way that I am,
That will be it. What
joy.
fuels you, Tim?
I love my life. I wouldn't trade it for a damn thing. Every single bit of it, all the tough parts, all the good parts, the bad parts. I love my life, and that's my why. Is when I do it this way, I love living, and I don't know of any other point of doing it. Really, I mean, if you can't, if life sucks, but you have a lot of money, give your money away and go find something else to do, because it's not worth it. It's not.
Right.
And I've been that guy. I've been the guy that's been surrounded by all the things and been miserable. And I don't ever want to go back to that way again. Simplicity, the things that you own you. And sometimes
Mm.
simplicity is much easier, and travel and experiences are so much better for me than things. I have a lot of nice things, sure I do, but they don't hold me. I would rather have people in my life that matter and give my things away.
I love it. I love it. So, can you hear me okay? You
Yeah.
hear me okay? Okay, okay. I love it. Because, I mean, I would love to have both. You know, because it's so funny because the being so humble like you are, because you're humble as heck, and I love it. Just in regards to just the personality that you've always come. That's the one thing that draws me to just you and my journey, and I truly appreciate all of that as well, because people can see it. You know what I'm saying? When you can tell if somebody's BSing you and somebody's not. And even if therapy has helped a lot in regards to me being real, peeling back all the layers. But that's when I see great people, and people are stuck with me and they just don't even know it. And you're one of those people. So anyway, I'm gonna go into something called the top eight, because I do want to respect your time and I don't want to,
Of course.
I want to keep you within the hour. And so with the top eight, it's just some fun questions that people can relate with, but also brings out some things I may or may not have known about you.
Okay.
So the first question is in regards to if you could be any superhero. Now, it doesn't have to be limited to Marvel characters or anything like that. So use the question as however it interprets in your mind. But if you could be any hero character, what would that character be and why? Mine is Flash. So, and I'm because I'm a Delta, and that's a sorority, Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and that was my line name, Flash. So I'm not a Marvel fan like that, but when they gave me Flash, I was like, huh. And then I looked at the card like, oh, that is kind of me. Okay, great. All over the place. What would you say for yourself would be that superhero character and why?
Um, I would like to be able to teleport because I don't want to have to fly on a freaking airplane again as long as I live, unless I'm going with my buddy Ruben and his. So if whatever character or superhero can teleport, I want to be that guy. So there's the Flash.
That's the
Yeah.
Flash. Yeah,
If,
that's the
if I
Flash.
if I could have one character, if I could have one superpower, teleportation would be it. And yeah, that would be it.
Well, tell me this: if you could teleport, where would you teleport to? Like, what would you do? I'm thinking about. You remember Back to the Future, were you able to go back to it? So, if you could actually teleport, you branch
Well,
that
you're talking
question.
about time travel with teleportation. So if like time travel, I could sit here and I could not move my geographic location, but now I'm back in 1950 or in 3010. That's time travel. I want to talk about I'm sitting here and I want to go visit my friend in Helsinki. I'm in Helsinki. Hey, what's up, bud? And I have to go to Brazil on Monday and I have to fly for 16 hours and I don't want to. I want to snap my
Right,
fingers and I want to
right,
show up in my office in Sao Paulo and say, hey, Giancarlo, I'm here.
right.
That's what I want to do. So if I could snap my fingers right now and teleport someplace, I would probably, I don't know where I would go right now, but it would probably be someplace warm on a beach.
I know that's right. Ooh, that sounds amazing. I love it. I do, and thank you for the clarity and the difference in between the two, because now I definitely feel you, because I love to travel, but I hated those 18-hour flights. I don't care if we're in a jet or I don't first class, doesn't matter the time. Oh my gosh. So I get it. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's the bane of my existence. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. So in regards to one food, like whatever your favorite food is, you could eat it all day, every day. Weight doesn't have anything to do with anything. Mine was watermelon, but I might be changing it here soon. But if you, because I just found out when I shared this with question, people tell me it's a lot of sugar in watermelon. If you don't eat the one with seeds in it, it's man-made. So
What? I
I
didn't know
know,
any of
right? I
that
learned
either.
so much about watermelon this week.
Okay.
So I might change that answer, but what was your favorite food and then why?
If I could just eat it all day long and not worry about the consequences, Brazilian churrascaria, which is the barbecue houses that they go and they have the big skewers with the meat and they slice them off. And you just have like a little tiny coaster that's red and green. And as long as it's green, they're going to keep slicing meat off. And then when you're done, you turn it to red and you fall back in your chair and you die. The secret to eating a lot of meat and not dying is pineapple, fresh pineapple with a little
Huh.
bit of grated as lime zest, because pineapple has an enzyme that digests red meat, and also the acid breaks it down so your body doesn't take as long to actually have to process it. So if you have a
Mhm.
big heavy like meat meal, eating pineapple afterwards will help you take that off. But the food
Interesting.
that I could probably eat every day and not ever have a problem with it would be quesadillas. I make quesadillas all the time.
What's your favorite quesadilla though? I love quesadillas. What kind do you make?
Oh
What's your
God,
favorite one that you
I
make?
so I get my shells from La Gloria Bakery over here in Mexican Village, and I'll make all sorts of kinds of different ones. But probably my favorite is just like a breakfast quesadilla with a little bit of scrambled eggs, some bacon, some hot peppers, some chives, some sort of queso blanco cheese, and some stuff like that. Maybe a little bit of salsa on the side.
Huh. Now it's so hilarious because again, I've done quesadillas a lot, but I have not done a breakfast quesadilla.
They're
And
the
that's
best.
being
Yeah,
goodness gracious. And
and
all I do is put the
yeah,
stuff in it.
you can put anything in a quesadilla. That's why in Mexico they're the leftovers. And so I made my wife. I blew her mind. I made a hash brown quesadilla with
Huh.
like some other things too. It was carbs on carbs. She was really happy with it. But yeah, you could put anything in a quesadilla and cook it. It tastes good.
I know,
Go
right?
figure.
That's a good one. Tim, thanks for expanding my mind with that because that's crazy finding different things to eat and things as well. Because some of these questions are selfishly for me, so I'm not going to lie to you.
Good. I
So,
love it. Okay.
so in regards to where you from and where do you call home now?
I'm from well, that's a really good question. I mean, I live in Canton, but I'm from Plymouth. I mean, because that's where I grew up. But I lived in Ann Arbor for 20 years, so I feel a very strong kinship with Ann Arbor and the University of Michigan. But and Detroit, I try to like I feel of myself as a Detroiter because again, I feel that that's not a geography, that's an attitude.
I love
So
it. I love it because you know I'm from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? Are you a Lions fan, Tim?
yeah, oh,
Are
big time.
Oh my
Oh yeah,
God. So you know Green Bay on Sunday. We are just literally it's gonna
I'm
make my whole
there.
weekend. Love it, love it. So in regards to travel, you have been so many places. I've been to 48 out of the 50 states, done some international travel, but my favorite place I still have to say is Toronto because all the different cultures and just they're so loving. I love to see that, right? What is your favorite place that you've traveled to and why?
So that's an interesting question. It depends on why I'm traveling there because I've had people ask me this question before, and it comes down to a couple different things. I love the United States. I probably haven't been in as many of the states as I've been to other countries because I've spent a
Mhm,
lot more time going to other places. I plan on buying a house in Costa Rica with my wife to have as a summer house in
mhm,
Guanacaste and Tamarindo. It's amazing. I love Costa Rica. The people there are so friendly. The weather is incredible. After World War II, they said, you know what, we don't want to have an army anymore, and so they devoted all their GDP towards healthcare and infrastructure to build things out. They have, I think, 20 different microclimates that you can find a desert beach, or you can even find a cloud forest. So you can explore all the nature and all the things that you want. I love Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It's a really cool place. It's one of the few cities that I've ever been to in my life where the city is actually integrated into the forest. So you have
oh,
enormous buildings coming out with huge trees coming blooming next to them with these big mangroves and things like that. I really loved Kuala Lumpur. Um, but Brazil will always be my other home. I have many. I have family there essentially, friends that I've known for so long that they're family. So Vitoria, Curitiba, um, Rio Grande do Sul, all those types of places. Angra dos Reis is maybe my favorite place that I would go for vacation. My friends have a home there. It's a chain of 365 islands outside of Rio de Janeiro that we go and we chill on their boat and go snorkeling and scuba diving and go to a different island every day.
I can't wait to be able to travel again. Like so, like, you know what? I haven't scratched the surface in travel when I talk to you, and I love it because now when I am able to travel again, I know who to call. Like, I have, oh my gosh, seriously, because I've never been to Brazil. I wanted to go to South America forever. I haven't been to, yeah, so I'm gonna go to a lot of these different places that you actually just mentioned because I'm sitting here just excited, living vicariously. Malaysia, I haven't been to. Jesus, Tim, this is amazing. I wanted Costa Rica. Is the prices of the houses? You might be next door neighbors. You don't know because again, I think that's so amazing. I love those answers. Thank you for those questions as well. Okay, so my next one is what date or day or season kind of stands out for you? My date is actually my sobriety date, November 20th, 2023. It literally the old I love the old Adrian. Let me don't get me wrong, but we killed her off. This new Adrian is just a rebirth. I'm just 21 months sober, and I'm actually learning to trust and love what God designed. Seriously, just no no fronts. This is who I am type thing. So do you have like and I'm showing people that that's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to be successful. It's okay to own your truth, but having accountability, that's why I have that as my new day. It's kind of my happy day. Even that's my birthday tomorrow. But right? So what would you say is your day or a date or a season that, really is exciting for you that you really love?
I love spring and summer. Summer is my favorite time of the year. I love the heat. I love exercising and being outdoors all I can. And the dates that would stand out for me would be both of the birthdays of my children. Those were the transformational things where my life went from one thing to another in that particular moment, and I woke up a different person than I was the day before.
And you literally did that 3 times. But well, actually twice, 'cause
Twice.
twins, I don't know how
Yeah.
that would work with twins.
It
'Cause
was
you
just twice. It was just
right,
twice.
right? You wake up and like, "There's
Yeah.
2."
Yeah, the first one was a huge transformation. The second time was big, but not as fundamental as the twins were. But yeah, that's the date, May 4th, 1995.
Oh, that's so amazing to have twins. 2 Tim there's 3 Tims actually running around
Oh,
this
I
world
have a
and
mini me. Oh, I have a mini me. He's more than me. He's got more energy, more activity. He's unbelievable.
that's hilarious. I love it, my friend. Okay, so in regards to mindset, do you have a mantra? I do my I can, I will, I shall be victorious. Let's go. Do you have like a mantra that helps you out in regards to mindset to kind of, the pick me up of your day?
Not in the sense that you do, but I do have a mantra if in the sense that if things are getting tough, this too shall pass. That,
Yes.
and sometimes you just have to kind of repeat that to yourself. This too shall pass, this too shall pass. It's gonna make it on the way out the door. And that's kind of the one that I fall back on. And then a lot of times and I'll just mumble, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, just kind of over and over and over again when something's come in as a blessing.
And then, it's so funny yesterday that it was this too shall pass and I will be done, not mine. That was literally the ones I was like, oh, no, God, this is your plan, not mine. And then it was so funny. I was like, God, okay, I won't do it anymore. I get it. I'm sorry. We talk like friends, like, okay, you know what? I needed to kick that. You're right, Lord. Okay, I will not do that anymore. So anyway, do you have like a book or a mindset, like in regards to a movie or a book that kind of helps you and kind of gets you going in regards to what your journey is?
I used to be a voracious reader. I was a speed reader, and still
Oh,
am. I just don't
sweet.
do it as much for enjoyment the way that I used to. If there was a book, there's an author. I like to read for pleasure, like to get
Mhm.
out of. I mean, I don't. Sure, I'll read like books about management or about stuff like that, but that's work. That's studying. That's not enjoyment. So I like to read for fun and pleasure. And Terry Pratchett is my all-time favorite author. He's kind of a science fiction fantasy with a lot of humor into it. He's created his own kind of world. There's a bunch of different books in the series. There's a bunch of different storylines that you can go along, which I love. It's called the Discworld. And then if I had to point to any one of like my single favorite book of all time, it would be the
Mhm.
book Lamb, Lamb, by Christopher Moore. And it's a hilarious book. It's the story of Jesus Christ is told by his best friend Biff. And
Oh my
it's
God.
really funny. It's very irreverent. It's a lot of fun, and it shows the life of Jesus as a human trying to figure this out with the rest of us through his best friend, and it's awesome. It's a fun book.
I love it. Thank you for that. Because I mean, I'm reading the Bible right now, and I love to have my next book. That's why like I said, some of these questions are selfishly for me. So, but that is a good one. Like I've never even heard or even thought of that. So, 2 more, and I'm gonna let you get back to your day. In
Okay.
regards to your brand, my friend, resilient is mine. Whatever, I'm gonna get through it. Like, I don't know if it's a Detroit all grit thing, how we have that Detroit Lions. So resilience and knowing that, again, like I was sharing with you, this too shall pass. Those are some of my billboard lines. What is one word that would describe Tim Moore and the brand that he has actually built and the journey that he's been through?
Super connector.
Come on, super connector. I
Yeah.
love it. Why super connector though?
Because I mean, if you have to distill it down into one word, that's what I do. That's my life. I am I am a nexus. They call me a super node where I have access to a lot of different groups of people. And I love connecting people and good people together. And so they view me as a super connector of the ecosystem of businesses, of people. I bring people and businesses and ideas together in places where they can flourish and where they can add to each other.
I love it. I love it. Leverage is another one too, because when we talk about how money works, understanding that it's not
Hmm.
about the dollars in your bank account, it's about the relationships that you build, the people that you can pick up the phone and call. So
Hmm.
that part is being built. Super connected. Come on, that's a good one for you, Tim. And so the last one I have for you, my friend, and like I said, I truly appreciate all of your time here today as well. But if you could go back and
Oh, we're
and touch,
back. We're back.
okay, you broke out. Okay, yes. So if you could go back and touch young Tim on the shoulder, and young Tim listens because we were hard heads. So now, if you young Tim and you wanted to give him some example or give him experience and some type of advice, what would you tap young Tim on the shoulder and to actually tell him to prepare him for life?
Um, it's gonna be hard, but you're gonna get help along the way, and it's gonna be okay.
That's
That's it.
awesome.
That's all I have. Yeah, that's it. Is that it's through the tough times, you're gonna get what you need. You're never gonna be left to be alone.
Mhm.
You're always gonna have a way that you'll get through it.
And this one is a bonus question. Like, how do you know
Sure.
that you're going the right way? Like, how do you know and have that confidence that you're actually the work that you're putting in, the direction you're going into, how do you know that you're going the right way?
By the reactions of the people around you when you do it.
Hmm.
And so if you're doing something that's worth doing, and if you're doing something that's good, you'll get a lot of positive feedback. You'll get a lot of support. That's not always. I mean, that's more of a general terminology. If you're speaking to like a specific instance of I need you to do this rather than do this, sometimes that there's a little bit more a pushback on stuff like that. But it's helping out where you can be helpful.
And honestly, if I could be honest with you, over the last few years, you have been helpful to me in regards to my journey, in regards to mindset, the text messages that you send, the motivation that you provide in our training camp of soul for our soul. You're such an impact in my journey, Tim, that I honestly wanted to tell these everybody that I bring and connect with these virtual conversations. For my birthday, I wanted to tell you thank you because I wouldn't be where I am right now, like you said, in regards to
Oh,
having like minds, community, the things that you don't know in the times that sending a random text, like those small things that you do along the way, I truly thank you. And I thank you as well for taking time with me this morning in regards to leading up to my birthday. So tell me if there's anything that in regards to just having a startup, being a father, having a CEO, being a world traveler, the last moments or anything you want to share before you actually get back to your day here today?
love what you do and do it with all the passion that you have. Don't hold back in anything. Don't wait for something to happen or for something to evolve to where it's perfect. Do it today. Ever don't ever push something off that you can do now, and do it well, and do with every bit of yourself 100% committed to it. And if it doesn't work out the way that you thought it would, it will probably work out better.
Come on, tell me. Ah, that's amazing, my friend. Freaking amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm gonna do the wrap up, and before you jump off, can I trust you to do the testimonial? No, I don't want. Just hold on for me. You're busy
Okay.
in your day, so I already
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've learned and learned the hard way with that. So let me do my wrap up, and I'll
Okay.
be right back. Come on. Oh, tell me my 46th birthday isn't amazing. From startup to scale, Tim Moore's 35-year journey in tech, AI, and kindness. This has been amazing, more than I can even design. One thing about that I laugh about God, seriously, is you never know who you're going to be impacted on the way to your why. Tim Moore just listening, just living vicariously through the travel, Brazil, Malaysia, Costa Rica, these I am a traveler, and I don't know he doesn't know how much I love to travel, and so when you have things in life and God puts different angels in your life, and I consider one of those angels, you hold on to them, you respect him, you love him, and you have something called a super connector. Come on, that's the best word. That's better than resilient. I don't know, Tim. I might have to borrow that one, my friend. But I truly thank everyone for even interacting with these live virtual conversations for my birthday edition. The great thing is it's going to be here forever, and we're going to be able to utilize these to help people grow. And we talked about AI, we talked about tech, we talked about mindset, we talked about fear, we talked about just keeping your journey of one word that I want to, kind of give you what we talked about was action. Take action, know that everything is going to be fine. And I love what he said he would tell his younger self it's going to be hard and you're going to get help along the way. But you got to start helping yourself first, loving yourself, doing the work. And we did the work today. Come on, Tim. That was freaking amazing. Thank you, my friend, again. I can, I will, I shall be victorious. What up, though, Detroit? Ah, deuces.